Greece's accelerating position in global tech. So, I would like your biggest applause for Mrs. Fay Christodoulou, Chief Science Officer in Microfluidics, John Papadakis, Founder and CEO at Pollfish, George Sidiropoulos, Co-Founder at Think Silicon, and our moderator, Panagiotis Karabinis, Managing Director, Greece at Endeavor. Your big applause, please.
Εσείς εδώ.
Α, τέλεια.
Το
Θα πάω από
βρήκαμε.
εκεί. Μου έχουν πει να κάτσω εδώ γι' αυτό. Θες να κάτσεις? Ακολουθώ τις εντολές. I follow the orders. Sorry. To be in English. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us in this very interesting discussion that we have. I'm Panagiotis Karabinis. I'm the Managing Director of Endeavor. We are a big supporter, a big fan, and a huge advocate of what's happening here. We've been dreaming this event for years. And the fact that it's being run by students, the fact that it's being held in Athens, and that we see so many international people, that's incredibly inspiring and so wonderful to see. So welcome everyone. It's an exciting era for Greece that we're being living, right? I mean, Endeavor has been operating since 2012, and we've been supporting entrepreneurs, and we do that in the entire world, believing that there's founders who are making success stories that can transform markets, right? But for founders to transform markets, we need to have big success stories, we need to have exits, we need to have these guys being rich and successful, right? And they're all rich and successful here, as you can see. But we also need them to multiply. We need them to inspire new generation of founders, we need them to invest, we need them to promote entrepreneurship, right? We don't need them to buy islands and boats and go away. Right, so that's what Endeavor does. We believe that there's Johns and George and Fays all over the world that they can build success stories, and then we work with them to multiply because they want to, right? Then we call them high-impact entrepreneurs. A few years ago, John Chioris, another John, sold his company InstaShop to Delivery Hero. He sold it for 360 million. He had the privilege of raising only a few million. He had the majority of his company into his hands. So he became, in a night, a multi-millionaire, right? John, if you don't know InstaShop, is till this day the biggest exit of the Greek tech ecosystem, right? And as Endeavor, I told you that we need to make them very successful, very rich, but we need them also to become multipliers. We need them to reinvest and push forward the next generation. So we did a map. We started in 2 years after his exit, how many startups he invested in, how many startups were started by his own team, how many startups he mentored. And this is the map that we created. If I can have the first slide. Okay, there you are. So this is John, and these are the companies that he has invested in and he has supported. These are the startups that exist partly because of John Chioris and what he created with InstaShop, right? So in only 2 years, he has invested in more than 26 startups. He has 10 startups have been started by his own team, right? He's mentoring a lot of companies, and that's only the beginning, right? And that what we believe is that John Chioris reached this success much faster than the previous generations, right? He only did it in 8 years. And he's multiplying much faster than any other generation that we've seen. Another one that you might know, if I can have the next slide, it's Lars, right? And those who don't know Lars, he's the founder of Google Maps, and he's also behind Panathēnea. One of these bubbles in his map is Panathēnea, right? His drive to multiply, his drive to give back and pay it forward is what's pushing him and propelling him to support this kind of event, right? And Panathēnea wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Lars and his initial support, right? Look at how many companies he has invested in, and how much more we should expect him to invest going forward, right? This is happening here also, and that's what we envisioned in bringing this panel forward, right? These are 3 founders who have exited. They sold their companies. They are rich, famous, and beautiful. and we should expect more from them,
That
right?
was not in the agenda.
We should keep them in our radars. We should expect big things from them. And what we're trying to make everyone understand is that Greece is in a new era, right? This is not John Chioris, it's not just Lars, it's not just John or George or Fay. There's a generation of founders who have exited, and there's more coming. And they're multiplying, they're aggressive, they're optimistic, they're ambitious, and Greece can perhaps, and other countries, plan with more aggressive growth rates. So, welcome, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for joining this panel. I would love you to give us an understanding of first, what's the success that you've built, right? Tell us a little bit more about the exit. Give us numbers. Tell us how rich you are. We want to be attracted to you sexually. So give us the numbers. Tell us how successful you are.
That was not in the agenda. I'll start. Hi, I'm John. I'm the founder of Pollfish, one of the founding members of Pollfish, and run the company as a CEO since the inception. Pollfish is a market research essentially tool that helps other companies do research very easily. We started in 2012 and formed a company in 2013. And until maybe 2018, we didn't have any growth. Somehow we managed to survive. We had investors that supported us, and at some point we found the product market fit. We moved to the States. Most of the company is commercial department. And long story short, we grew the company at about roughly 20 million in sales a year. In 2021, we came to the realization that we couldn't. What's the next step of the company? Like, can we go public on our own? That's kind of the premature thinking, and we decided, came up to the conclusion that we cannot do that. So we were looking for other companies to merge to go public together. So at this point, we sold the company in 2021 to a private strategic company called Protégé in LA. That was a successful exit for the shareholders. One of the multiplier effects, like you mentioned the digital, the wealth, I measured like how many people moved to the next level. And maybe that's a differentiation from today's companies or that generation of the companies you're referring to, is that many people associated with those companies had success, not just a couple of folks. So that's really what's the driving force of maybe the multiplier effect. That's like the story of Pollfish so far.
In 2021.
Yep.
Would you disclose how much, or is it like give us a ballpark figure?
I cannot.
You cannot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I don't know what's a lot mean, but it was something that the investors were happy. We were happy, and also the buyer was happy. So, I mean, it was a win-win situation.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And congrats.
Thank you.
It's I said that we have a generation of entrepreneurs who have exited. They're 20, 30, 40, but this is still an outlier performance, right? Especially if it's a successful exit, it's an outlier. You're an outlier, and
you're an outlier as well, Pano. You've done many things. I'll see you there someday.
Faye, tell us about Miroculus.
Right, Miroculus. So it starts back in 2015 when we started growing our team in San Francisco. Miroculus was working in biotech, so biotools to be precise. We developed and commercialized a product that miniaturizes and automates laboratory experiments, specifically marketed it for preparing the DNA or the RNA in a fully automated fashion without prior training requirements so that it can be read by a sequencer. These are protocols that last 2 to 6 hours, and we fully do it hands-off. So we grew the company to about 60. That was the maximum number, and commercialized the product in spring of 2022. But there was a lot of great reception from the market and interest from investors. And that summer, there were 2 sudden dips in the stock market, similar to about a month ago, which made all the investors go like, and not want to invest. So it unfortunately paired with the time we were raising. And so quickly enough, it became evident to the co-founders it was going to be very difficult to raise the next round, and therefore we took a conscious decision to seek for an exit and started talking to candidates. We had, of course, some strategics in our board and some great partners in the field. Fast forward 2023 March, we were acquired by a Swiss company in the biotool space, INTEGRA Biosciences, and we're now part of that team. I cannot disclose either, but yeah.
Give us numbers, guys. Give us numbers. We want to know how to prioritize, who to flirt with. Thank you. George.
So Think Silicon. We started many years ago. We're designing graphics processors, GPUs, for wearables. So I don't know if you wear a Garmin watch or a Fitbit. Do you have people here wearing a Garmin?
Surely.
Or Fitbit? Or
Surely.
Xiaomi's? Or Huawei's? So every time you wake up your screen, our GPU is working. So technology that was developed in Patras and Athens and Thessaloniki helps you to see your watch every day. We went through a lot of waves. We're working for this more than 5 years, trying to acquire customers because our customers were companies like Qualcomm, STMicro, Ambic, a lot of chip companies. We almost died back in 2018, but in 2019 we started to acquire customers for the same market, and now you can find our technology in more than 150 million smartwatches. In 2020, I was very bad on raising money, so I was trying for many years to raise capital, but unsuccessfully. At the end, we had a very small round in 2019, and after 6 months, we've been acquired by Applied Materials, which is the biggest company about manufacturing equipment for chips in the world. It's more than 35,000 people, $27 billion in revenues, almost 60 years old. It's a super big company. This exit was very successful for the founders, for the stakeholders, the shareholders. And we're something like 20. Only 3 were investors. The rest were employees of the company. So people coming out of the university in Patras and Athens joined our company. We provided shares, and at the end, we had a lot of happy people because of the exit.
That's wonderful.
Applied Materials was a great employer because during the acquisition, we were 15 employees. Last December, we were more than 50. The company invested a lot in our team. It helped us to grow. But at the end, there was not much on the technology side. So we left Applied. I'm free since April 1st. It's like a joke, but it's true. And my team now is part of Qualcomm. So the team is continuing to develop graphics processors for the Snapdragons, meaning that at the end, the technology that is being developed here in Greece will end up in more than a lot of billions of devices across the globe.
Let's just paint a picture here. If you're wearing a watch, an electronic watch, and the battery lasts more than 5 hours, it's become
more than 5 days.
But more than 5 hours. I mean, it's the Apple Watch that dies in 5 hours. I forget Apple Watch, and then every other watch lasts for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, right? If it does that, your watch, it's because the software that the battery uses has been, and the processors have been designed by Think Silicon, right? And then Applied Materials came, a big player in the semiconductor industry, right? And they scaled it up, and they made this software available to everyone in the world and every manufacturer in the world. And then Qualcomm, which is another huge player,
and now Qualcomm is in Greece. Which for me is very important.
Which is new, by the way. It's a few days old, this piece of news, right, about Qualcomm.
If you check LinkedIn, it's almost a month.
So it will be more publicized as we go forward. So let's start. How is Pollfish doing right now? Like, I mean, is it growing? I mean, we've heard that Think Silicon was acquired and they doubled, they're more than doubled because of that acquisition. Is that team growing here in Greece?
Yes, it's a little difficult to answer this specifically because we've been integrated into the main business. So research is a big part of Protégé, and Pollfish is a brand of consumer-facing research of the whole organization. So all the clients of all the group will see Pollfish when they go in, and they will be served by our tool. What's changed now is that the Protégé is a lot big on services, so we're going to be offering a lot more to our clients and our clientele. So the brand is alive, stronger than before, and visible to bigger clients today.
Wonderful. I'm asking because a multiplier effect, in order for it to work, the team and the local business that's being acquired, if it grows, then it's easier for us to see a multiplier effect faster, right? How about Miroculus? Is Integral growing the team?
Yeah, I mean, the blessing about joining Integra is that it's actually a particular mindset of a company. They're obsessed about direct sales.
Yeah.
So we were able to do something impossible as a startup, to have 70 direct sales reps in Europe and US. So that has commercially scaled the product, broadened the reach to many labs. It is not only in academic research setting where it's used for a variety of projects, but what brings me a lot of joy as a scientific founder, it's actually in the clinic. It's used for neonatal intensive care unit cases where babies are not doing great and are undiagnosed. So as a last resort, you sequence the genome, and 49% of cases, there is an intervention that rescues the baby. It's used for organ donors, deceased organ donors, to find a match for the organ quickly, where speed is of essence, and similarly for pharmacogenomics, where, again, it's important to decide which drug to administer based on the genetic background of the patient.
So that's wonderful. So not only you managed to sell your company successfully, but that company is still growing within the bigger organization that acquired it. This is not also a very often case, right? It can go the other way around, right? And a local company can be absorbed by an international player and then leave the country, erase the footprint, right? Be absorbed completely, but that's not the case here, and that's also the case with a lot of acquisitions that have happened in Greece. IQSonos was acquired by Meta, and now Meta is designing audio and video solutions, right? The new audio and video solutions, the editing products that you see in Instagram and everything is being designed by this team, right? Or Innoetics, who was acquired by Samsung, now leads the research on voice-to-text technology for the entire Samsung group, which is great. So Greeks are selling, they're keeping their international acquirers in the country or wherever you guys sold your company, and then you're growing the teams. The multiplier effect starts to show, right? Another tougher question, and we haven't rehearsed any of that. For the multiplier effect to be in effect, right, and to see more coming up from one success is making sure that more people become rich, not just you. And how do we do that in the tech world and obviously all over? It's with stock options, right? Yep. Making sure that our teams and our staff has a share in that success. We are part of a big initiative that's called EU Inc., right? And Index Ventures and a lot of other people as Endeavor. We believe that this is not optional, but this is also growing. It's not still a culture. Did you have stock option? What's your thoughts on that? How can we make sure that our teams become rich as well, not just the founders?
Oh yeah, I touched on that in the beginning. I cannot recall how many shareholders we had, but all the employees had shares and significant shares.
Wonderful.
Also there was a couple of things that we accelerated the vesting. So and those things got appreciated by the people, and obviously. Giving options, as you mentioned, is optional, but it's highly recommended.
Yeah.
Initially, we sliced about 20% of our company, but then it was about a little bit more than that, 30% to the employees.
Wonderful.
There.
That's fantastic. And Viva Wallet, when they partially exited, they sold to JP Morgan, they announced there's 35 people who became millionaires in our team because of that deal. Right. How about you guys? Stock options.
Same story. Yeah. In the Bay Area, it's kind of expected.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
it's the norm, right?
Yes.
In San Francisco.
Right.
Wonderful. George.
Yeah, in our case,
what's
I think we had more than 7 employees of the company that became millionaires.
Wonderful. 7. So, okay, amazing.
The investors were not happy because they had a very small share, part of the company.
Yeah.
But me and Jakob, as a co-founder, we ended up with less than 50% of the company at the end.
Wonderful.
It doesn't make sense to keep the percentage you have in a company.
Yeah.
At the end, what makes sense is how much money you're going to get.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to have a big share of the company if the valuation is low.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's simple math.
If you're looking to work at a startup, and you should, if you're looking to work at a high-tech company, you should always look for those who offer stock options, ask for their plans, ask for the vision on that part.
Frankly, I've seen some cases of companies that there was one shareholder with 90-something% of the company.
Yeah.
I skip these companies.
Yeah, the multiplier effect in that case will be limited, right? I mean, a big part of that is how many people from your team started companies, right?
It's also how much you value your team.
Yeah, absolutely. Look for stock options and the founder's visions there. How about you guys? So the biggest part is what the founder does, right? I mean, do you start, second and third, become serial entrepreneurs, you become angel investors, you go invest in VCs, do Panathēnea and stuff like that. How are you keeping yourself busy other than owning, before that, any crazy sells, any crazy buys that you did? Like I bought a boat, I bought an airplane, I bought a somebody's robot.
I'm about to buy a very unjustified espresso machine. We had a lot of conversation in the house about that, but I'm buying it.
Sorry,
espresso machine.
Espresso
Yes,
machine.
correct.
Must be an expensive one.
For the espresso machine. It's very expensive.
George?
No, just a mountain bike.
Mountain bike.
Yeah.
Better be an expensive. Guys, keep the market rolling. We need you to spend. This is
And a very good tent.
the crisis is coming. Fay?
I am notorious for my shopping therapy, so I don't think it matters before or after the exit. So, no, I think we were joking with Yanis. We invested quite a bit in our wellness. So, I don't know. Speaking with friends who have exited, the personal trainer is a quite funny right after thing happening.
Wonderful. You better spend. How about your investments? How are you? I mean, give us an outlook. We need your guidance. We need your advice. We need your experience in selling the company, growing the company. How is the Greek ecosystem doing? Are you seeing founders that fascinate you? Are you investing? Give us a little bit of that.
Yeah, personally, I moved back to Greece about a year and a half ago. So I'm now trying to understand the Greek ecosystem. As mentioned, after the exit, there's a lot of integration with the other company, relocation, family, father of 3, and personal wellness. But I've invested in a couple of angel investments, and the issue is, for me personally, the rise of AI. It makes things very uncertain. Like for my investment, like when we made the exit, I said, okay, I'm going to invest everything in VCs and in startups immediately. But then it was the moment with the AI launch, and I knew that everything would be disrupted by then. So I took a pause on my dream. I invested in 5 or 6 startups directly, and the rest into the market. I'm hoping to move out from the market, more in the startups, and I'm starting to see a lot of more tangible applications of AI and agents, and this is my field, to invest in. So that's kind of a...
Do you see yourself working at Prodigy or starting your second, becoming a serial entrepreneur or starting a VC?
No, we are essentially bringing AI agents in Prodigy, and we think that research is going to be agentic, obviously. That's, who guessed that? So everything will become agentic. So within the company, we're doing a lot of AI projects.
Yeah, of course. We have a platform, right?
Yep.
You can see the world
right.
through this platform. Fantastic. Fay, are you investing?
I am investing. So I'm quite particular. Obviously, I understand biotech, less tech, although I'm fascinated by it. And there is that in my thesis, and there is a push I want to give to women-led VCs, which I haven't identified one yet, where all the managing partners are women in Greece and in biotech. There's one in the Bay Area that I really admire with a great success rate, so I have become an LP there. And then other than that, considering angel investments, but with a very slow pace, again, in biotech. With that said, we are forming a local chapter in the Bay Area for the first time, the Silicon Valley Greek BioHub, where you're all invited if you're there for our second meetup in June 5th, trying to map out who is who, first of all, very basics, who is who in biotech, professionals in the Bay Area, and what are they expert at, and how can they be a community that can build bridges to the Greek nascent biotech ecosystem that I wish I had access to when starting Miroculus back in 2015. So maybe through that, there might be some angel investments. We'll see.
When you said who is who, I thought you were analyzing the DNA when they came through. Like,
we haven't gotten to
your
that,
origins
but
first.
that's
Okay,
a great
you go
idea.
there.
Identification.
We can support her. I mean, we've been working in the Bay Area
Yes.
for so long. We've
We
been
should
mapping
talk
the
more.
Greeks there. We've been working with them. That's how we got
Yes.
to meet and work with you also. Count on us.
Yeah.
And also equal representation. That's a big must right now, right? I mean, there's so much imbalance in the ecosystem right now, right? I mean, especially in the founder aspect and the investor aspect, right?
Especially investors.
We need to fix that. We need to fix that, and then that's why we depend a lot on entrepreneurs who have succeeded and they have the capacity, time, knowledge, and resources to launch initiatives that fix the world, right? I mean, working on something like that in Greece, inspiring more women and more marginalized groups to enter the tech world. That would be fantastic. I would love to work with you on that.
Great.
George.
In my case, I was for 5 years running the company as before with more workload because of the big corporation and all the challenges there and the difference in the time with California. I'm also I'm too engineer still, so I want to understand a bit what I'm talking about. So, even after the acquisition, I set aside a significant amount for investments. Till now, I haven't found a team that is doing deep tech that I can understand, that I could invest, because I want to invest and actively engage with a team. And that's why we're trying now to do also with Endeavor and Katerina. We're trying to get into the universities.
Yes.
And work with the young students, with the researchers, and try to cultivate a bit the idea that you need to, working for EU-funded or Greek-funded projects, it's fine. Publishing papers, it's excellent. But a percentage of your research should be commercialized at some point.
Yes.
We need to start thinking about how we can create products out of the research.
Yes.
I think this is going to be a long process, a tough process. But we need to get into the universities, get in touch with the students, and to work on this very actively.
Yeah, your success story from Patra, and Patra perhaps is a birthplace of success stories because of the universities, right? I mean, that's why I see a lot of drive in the universities, perhaps in Athens or in Thessaloniki. Startups come from multiple directions, and then it's not necessarily a priority. But that's why I think that it's so important to have people like you guys being successful and exiting, materializing their success and the growth that they've built, because then you come with ambitions and aspirations to fix everything, right? And you have the resources, you have the energy, brand, followership, and capacity and resources to fix these things, right? You want to fix equal, representation, and you want to fix research and universities. You want to fix the way that, we do research.
You have the most followers of all of us combined, you know that, right?
It's a privileged position, because we're hosting all of you guys.
That's an important point, that I actually want to really thank Panagiotis, Maritina, the Endeavor team, because for all of three of us and every other Endeavor entrepreneur to have reached this exit, and the future generations of Endeavor entrepreneurs that will be a great success, It takes a village, and this village is particularly active. The Greek chapter in Endeavor is known globally for how engaged and how much energy they have and how seriously they take their job. So really thank you for, I think, representing everyone. We have broadened our network, our reach to mentors and to investors and key partners, thanks to you. And we want to pay
Thank you.
forward.
It's a privilege to be serving people like you, and that makes our work much more enjoyable and pleasant and easy because we get to work with you guys. So if we have, if we want to let you with a takeaway here is that there's people like John, George, and Fay, there's dozens of them who either have exited already and have become millionaires and very successful people with world-class brand and access to resources and international platforms, and they want to scale, and they want to change the world, they want to change Greece, right? And we should be able to, of course, identify them, give them the platform to do as much as possible. We should be pushing them to do as much as possible. We should be giving them the platforms and the way to do these things. If they want to just change research, let's work together. If you want to change, I don't know, equal representation, let's do that. And then we should also be helpful that there's a lot more coming, right? And identify them, push them for more stock options, push them for more equal dispersion of equity and success, and all together work for a better country and a better Europe, because we also need to start caring more about Europe. But Greece is on the verge of a bright future, and let's all build it together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.